Welcome. So today you guys are going to start a new page in your notebook called Latitude and Longitude. I did write another notebook page myself because there's going to be a lot of stuff on this slide that you're on these slides that you're not going to have to take down yourselves. But it's all very important for you to visualize it. I did put this together so that you know exactly what this should look like. My stuff is like crammed in. I did get it on one page, but if you have to go to 2 pages, that's no big deal. So you might ask to start off with why we're learning about latitude and longitude. And that has everything to do with the fact that in the next few units, we're talking about weather, we're talking about astronomy, we're talking about being able to interpret time zones. You have to be able to read a map and find places on that map and also figure out the time of day. So that's going to be huge. We're going to talk about that, the time zones and such in our weather unit, but to start in our in our astronomy unit, we're going to talk about time zones. In our weather unit, you are going to be looking at a lot of maps and seeing how weather travels through the United States in particular, and you are going to have to be able to pinpoint on a map what weather looks like just looking at data, what weather looks like at that point, and how weather is going to move into that area. So this is just the beginning of that. The first thing that I want you to do is draw a compass on your sheet. So I'm going to make this big here for a sec. And you could see on the top, I mean, some people, I felt like last year there were some people that didn't know how to read a compass. So I want you to do like 4 arrows here, right? And then like a cross in the center. And north is on top here, south is on the bottom. And then we have west and east. And the easiest way to remember this is like it spells out, or it says we. You know, it's not east-west, it's west-east. Okay? And then up in this corner, we have northwest. Am I pointing? Am I covering? I might be covering. Northwest. Over here, we have northeast. And then southwest and southeast. You always have the north or south first when you talk about those directions. So make sure you can see I put a compass over here and then I drew my little compass. This is just the beginning so that you know, when we talk about how weather moves through the country, you can see, you can say that, oh, it's going to move from west to east. All right, let me make me small again. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about are the hemispheres. Sorry about that little glitch here. So next thing we're going to talk about are the hemispheres. Again, this is something that I just have on my paper here. Okay, so our hemispheres, we have the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, and this is separated by the equator. Okay, here, let me make me big again. Here we go. So draw a little, you can make it bigger than mine. Mine was kind of crammed in here. Draw two globes. One is separated by western and eastern, and one is separated by northern and southern. And the thing that separates the northern and southern hemispheres is the equator, which you probably should know at this point. But the thing that separates the western and eastern, which you might not know, is called the prime meridian. This is going to be important for you to understand for this this segment. So make sure you have those down. Okay, and then we can move into our slideshow here. So, latitude and longitude. Latitude is first, okay? That's how you spell that. In your notebook, I have just the 3 bullets here, and you can paraphrase, I'm sorry. And as I go along, you don't have to write down every single tiny little detail that I have, but I do have 3 bullets here, and then I've got a little picture. So that's what you have coming up in your notes. So, what is latitude? Latitude are lines that run horizontally, and horizontally, horizon, that's how you remember that, horizontally, and they're called parallels. So your first bullet, you don't have to write lines of latitude, but write down lines run horizontally, and they're called parallels. Now, parallel means that they don't ever run into each other, right? So that's a good way to remember that too. Those lines are running like this, and they never are going to run into each other. Now, both latitude and longitude are measured in degrees. They are a little bit different. Um, so you can write measured in degrees. The next two bullets you can kind of combine as one. They're measured in degrees, and the equator is at 0 degrees. Okay. And then our final bullet. This is how you locate things north or south of the equator. So if you're talking about something in the northern hemisphere, you're going to use a latitude reading. So this is, I do want you to draw a globe underneath and just put some lines of latitude in there. At your equator, like I did here, you can put 0 degrees, okay? And then at one of the, like halfway through, from the equator to the top, to the North Pole, I want you to put a 40 degrees north, and then halfway between the equator and the South Pole, I want you to put 40 degrees south. Now the North Pole, so let me not get ahead of myself here. 4 lines of latitude, they go from 0 to 90, okay? And they go from 0 to 90 going south. And they're numbered just from 0 to 90, okay? Like I said, the longitudinal lines are just a little bit different. But what I do want you to write down is, like I said, that 40 degrees north and 40 degrees south. And the North Pole is at 90 degrees north, and the South Pole is at 90 degrees south. So whenever you're talking about anything, your first set of coordinates is always going to be the latitude reading, and it'll always be from 0 to 90. And whether it's north of the equator or south of the equator, you would indicate that afterwards. So you would say something is 60 degrees north, or if it's in the southern hemisphere, it's 60 degrees south. Okay, so longitude is next. It's the same structure. You've got 3 bullet points, and then you're going to draw a little globe. Okay? So these are vertically, so they go up and down, and they're called meridians. The prime meridian is 0 degrees. So just like our equator is 0 degrees, the prime meridian is 0 degrees, and it runs north and south. And it actually runs right through Greenwich, England. So that's our 0 degree mark. These indicate things that are east or west of the prime meridian. So if we think about our compass, right, and you think about where England is on a map, do you think we would be west or east? So if you said west, you would be right. We are actually west. We would be, well, now I'm going to talk about our coordinates, but our coordinates are exactly 43 degrees north and 79 degrees west. We are 79 degrees away from Greenwich, England. So here's our little globe. This says, let me get myself out of the way here. This says the lines of longitude begin at the prime meridian. And then instead of it just going halfway through the globe, it actually goes all the way around. It does start from 0 and then goes around 15 degrees, 30 degrees east, and then goes 15, 30 degrees west. But what they do is they go all the way around the globe until you get to 180 degrees on the other side. So on your picture, and the next one will just talk about that a little bit more the next slide. So if that's confusing, just hold off for just a second. So on this one, I want you to write down your lines. 0 degrees is at our prime meridian, and then you go lines over at 90 degrees west, and then the 90 degrees east. See, all I put down on here is that it goes to 180 degrees on opposite side of the globe, and it meets there. So you're going from west all the way around the globe, and right here, at this horizon of our globe, that would be 90 degrees. And then if you go all the way around, just like if you're, you think about any kind of angle, if you go all the way around the globe, you're going to get to 180 degrees. And so it meets there. It goes all the way around the globe and then meets at 180 degrees. And I'm pretty sure this next slide shows. There we go. So this is an angle looking down at the Earth, and you can see from here, the North Pole, it goes all the way around and hits at the 180 degree mark. I'm trying to figure out if that's something you need to know on the bottom, but you really don't. So I'm just describing it. So this is just the opposite view of the last slide, and it goes all the way around 180 degrees. So by combining latitude and longitude, any location on the map can be pinpointed, and that's why they've created this. It gives you a grid of the entire globe, and you can say exactly like in the middle of the ocean, you can pinpoint a spot using this coordinate system. So the last thing I want you to write down on the bottom is coordinates. Oops, over here. Coordinates, and they always read, and I'll go to the next slide so you can see it. They always read north or south first. So I want you to write down coordinates, and then it reads blank north or south first, and then blank east or west second. So you can see on this picture that Detroit is here. It's 42 degrees north and 83 degrees west. Again, that's because we are west of England on a map, okay? Our coordinates, which you can add in yours, is 43. We are 43 degrees above the equator, and we are 79 degrees west of Greenwich, England. Okay, so hopefully that's not too confusing. I do have a worksheet packet for you to fill out. If you have questions, I will be around. Good luck.